This is Sunday. It's 5 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Mountain, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. Therefore, it's time for Healings and Meditations with Frank Jordan and the EMPT group. So hang on, folks. We'll be right back.
Some people never want to be not me.
On.
Good morning, my brothers and sisters. We're looking for Frank Jordan.
There. Trying again. There he is.
That's better.
Did it work?
Yep.
Good morning.
We're slowly but surely getting everybody.
Are we live?
Yep.
Live. Barely.
No, I think we might be live right now.
You are live. You have been live for a minute and a half.
The show must go on, Frank.
Thank you, Dave. Good morning, everyone. This is the Wolf Spirit Radio program and the Earthmind Think Tank group, and working with World Meditations with Frank Jordan. And we will move right along now that we finally got hooked up. It's a beautiful day here in Idaho. Some rain clouds coming over, but generally it's pretty nice. There is a low-pressure system trying to work its way down from the north, but I doubt that we'll see much effect of it. There's also that low-pressure system sitting in the Baja of Mexico, and if we can bring that up a little northwest, it could spin off some rain to help the southern states. Maybe not California too much, but everyone in the south seems to be in drought situation. So we'll work on that. And other than that, the solar flares, we saw the effect of our work Wednesday on the solar flares, because if they totally missed us, and the scientists are kind of in wonderment at that. What happened? Where did they go? Well, we know that we picked them up and sent them around and actually sent out an energy that would bounce them in another direction. And there is another one building up, a potential of one, so we'll reinforce our golden grid to repulse electromagnetic energy should they come. And other than that, the earthquake grid looks very mild today. There's quite a bit of activity in the Philippines, and that's the only place. Otherwise, things have dampened down considerably. And so, let's begin our work. We'll step right into the meditation. And this is a wonderful meditation for anyone new that's listening, because this is what allows us to access the subconscious mind. And through the subconscious mind, oversoul and undersoul, that being the positive and negative polarity, that resonates through earth mind, and oversoul, that through the 0 point in the heart holds everything in manifestation. And so learning to access the subconscious mind and working through the chakra system, sending our desire and will and intent from earth mind through the 0 point and into manifestation is what puts us in power, so that we're not necessarily subjective to everything around us, but we become co-creators with it. So let's begin the process now. Take your awareness into the forehead. Close your eyes. Be totally comfortable and relaxed. Hands and feet apart. The necessity of that is we need to be in the flow of the polarity energies. The left being the negative, the right being the positive. And anytime we cross our hands or cross our feet, we block those energies flowing through us, and instead they short circuit through us. And when we're working with advanced consciousness or the expanded states of consciousness, we need to be free and open and in the flow. Now step your awareness one step back behind the frontal lobes, and this is the soul center. This is where the indwelling soul hangs out, and this is where it sends down messages from the mountaintop to our systems, the chakra system, our middle self, which is created in the 0 point for our interactive reality out here. And this is the point, the soul center, that sends prompting for us to make right choice, positive action in everything we do. And it works in direct opposition to the promptings of the low self, which are primarily self-oriented, that are survival-oriented. So as we do our clearing work and gain access to expanded consciousness, the indwelling soul can come further into the system and have much more power, and this is what raises upward through the many levels of consciousness as we send upward through the third dimension by lessons and experience into the fourth dimension, and that's our goal. Now take a step further back, deeper, and you enter the chakra system, the higher point of it, which is actually the psychic center in your head, near the pineal gland. And this center is what allows us direct communication with everyone, where this soul center is more a universal attunement, where we feel the influence of everything and everyone in the higher consciousness realm. The psychic center allows us to tap into the common consciousness realm of everyone that's actively involved in conscious choices. So now just reach your awareness out and join the consciousness grid in the midplane of consciousness through the psychic centers. And you feel your chakra system open up as you do that, because this is what allows you to attain all the information that's out there, that's available to you in the consciousness grid and the subconsciousness grid. It's through the chakra system opening up. And you just feel that expansion down through your body, and it's like coming to attention. And so information can come into your psychic center, and through that on up into the conscious, mental, emotional realm in the frontal lobes of the brain. Now take a step further back, and you step into that expanded state of consciousness, which is the subconscious mind. And back beyond that is the unconscious mind, where we are in attunement with everything that has ever been and everything that ever will be. But we want to stay attuned into the subconscious right now. Drop your awareness down the spine to the 0 point in the heart. This is where the God Force consciousness dwells. That's that little speck and aspect of God that holds everything in form, and literally holds it in form, so in our consciousness levels we can experience all things possible as God. So our responsibility is to do the best we can with what we have to work with in all our levels of activity, making right choices to further the evolution of mankind and all other species. And this is the point where it all happens, is in the 0 point. This is where the standing waves of the past come forward, and if they're not changed, they resonate forward into the future to create our future moments of now. So in this moment of now, drop your awareness down the spine to the root chakra, and in doing so, you move down into your low self, which is primarily ruled by your low soul and your animal consciousness. And then drop on down again, below the root chakra. Extend your point of consciousness into Earth Mind. This is the living consciousness of Earth, of Gaia. This is what allows us to work with the weather systems and the nature systems and everything that is our support system in physical life here. It's all held in form in the Akashic Records, which is the silicon dioxide of the crust of Earth, which is one gigantic computer chip that holds everything that ever happened. And through a grid of unconsciousness, we can reach back and tune into everything that ever happened, not only to ourselves, but to anything else. This is the true, deep inner psychic planes of consciousness. Just feel Mother Earth for a moment. Open up and just come into attunement with it. Now, today our intent is to work with the earthquake grid and to release stress off the earthquake zones around the ring of fire and around the earth, and to lift that excess energy that's building up into upper spines, into the atmosphere, and into a golden grid of a shielding grid of consciousness that we've created. And our intent there is to redirect any negativity that's coming to Earth of electromagnetic nature from the sun or any other source. We direct that around the Earth so it's not detrimental to our systems. Then with that point of awareness, we go to take your point of awareness into Southern California and the earthquake grid there. This is a very active parallel zone where the Pacific Plate and the mainland plate rub against each other as the Pacific Plate moves northward. This is commonly known as the San Andreas Fault. It runs all the way up to the border of Oregon and California, and all the way down south to the Baja Gulf, and all the way down into the Albatross Plate in Central America. And these are where they become subduction zones. But just feel the energy now in and around Southern California. Just tune in, become one with it. And you'll feel it as an intensity of energy building up in the root of your spine, the base of the spine, in the root chakra. Now lift that energy upward, up the spine, through the 0 point, out through your crown chakra, out through oversoul, into the ionosphere, where we've created a golden grid of protective energy around the earth. As you do this, just feel that flow as you tune into into the Devic force of consciousness. It's working with us now. It gathers up and releases that energy up through like an umbrella from each and every stress point that's building up in Southern California. And because of our intent to tune into that, Gaia directs that energy up through us. And of course, we don't feel the full intensity. What we're doing is directing the energy through that grid that is reaching upward. It doesn't have to come through us. We just necessarily have to be attuned into it, and that's what we're doing. By feeling it within ourselves, we're feeling it in the earthquake grid out there, the excess energy and stress energy, releasing northward in umbrellas of energy that reach up into the ionosphere and distribute it around the earth in the golden grid. And as you do this, you feel a relaxation in your low self. It's like that intensity in the base of your spine relaxes. And as it relaxes, we know we release the buildup of energy, and we move our point of attention higher up into the San Diego area, moving upward along the San Andreas Fault, but reach out and touching all the minor fault lines too, as they shift and adjust to the movements of the plates. Now, feeling the relaxation, move northward to San Francisco. And as you move northward, just mentally move yourself along the earthquake, the fault line. And if you feel intensity anywhere, pause and release that energy. That's what we're looking for. The intensity comes from your root chakra up through your body. It actually touches through your heart. Move northward to the Oregon line, where the San Andreas is out in the sea, and it joins the San Juan de Fuca plate. There's some activity there. Take your awareness through California to the Sierra Nevada mountains, bordering eastern California all the way down. This is a subduction zone that is actually lifting the Sierra Madre. Sierra is lifted upward. There's a lot of minor adjustments occurring there constantly, and follow the southern portion of that out into the desert north of Las Vegas, into the subduction zone of the Rocky Mountains, and lift that upward all the way northward through Utah, up to the Yellowstone caldera. And notice how the energy feels, how the energy shifts within yourself. The caldera feels different. It's a more hot energy, more vibrant energy. Lift that potential explosive force upward and reinforce the umbrella we already have there. It's like a gigantic funnel of energy that lifts up out of the cauldron, distributes through the golden grid. as long as we do this and continue to do it, we can defer and hold off a major eruption of the Yellowstone, which could be cataclysmic to the whole United States. Now move your awareness into the northwest and the Cascade Range. It runs full length of Oregon. That's a subduction zone there also. That plate slipping is, we want to release any buildup of energy so that it's like lubricating it so it slips steadily, creates a harmonic release. It's interesting to see how that feels different from what the other areas have felt. Now move your awareness northward into Alaska, where the Alaskan, actually the North Pacific plate plunges under Alaska. That activity creates a lifting movement all the way up through the central Alaska, all the way up to the Mount McKinley Range and the Brooks Range further north. Lift those energies upward. The map shows probably 200 minor earthquakes that are occurring there constantly. Okay, we release those. And move your awareness down along the Aleutian Trench, the Aleutian Islands, responsible for the volcanoes. All the way to Russia, then drop south through the Kamchatka Trench to Japan. There is a 5.2 at Ofinato, Japan. This is not too far from the reactors. So we lift those energies up through the ancient volcanoes in Japan, which is the natural source and release of these energies. And we wrap these around and incorporate the radioactivity release that is happening there from the reactors. Lift that reactor energy, the radioactivity, into the golden grid, transmuting it into beneficial energy. Energy is never lost. It simply changes its form in response to desire and will. Move your awareness southward along the Japanese Trench. There's some major activity occurring south of Japan, which has the potential of creating tsunamis. Release that energy. Now follow the fault line south that leads to Taiwan, and all the way down through into the Philippines. There's a lot of activity in the Philippines today. .5 at Placer in the Philippines. The 5.1 at Sarong. And there's no activity in the Java Trench area today, but we go into that area and lift the energy up anyway because we know this is continuous and ongoing. So lift anything you feel in the Java Trench subduction zone. Interesting, there's quite a lot of energy there. That was good because that was building up to a major experience. Now move the awareness eastward to New Guinea and the string of islands, including the Solomons, Vanuatu, all the way through to Fiji and the Tonga Trench. Southward along the Kamdaka Trench to New Zealand. No activity there. Now move eastward to South America. To mid-range activity all the way through the Andes, up through Bolivia, into Peru. There's a 5.1 at Camana. This is subduction energy. Open all the ancient vents in the Andes Mountains to release that subduction zone energy. It only becomes destructive energy when the pressure creates heat that's translated up through the fault lines to the surface and released as heat and energy in volcanic activity. Now move northward to Central America. Guatemala has experienced 5.1 at Nueva Concepcion. Lift that energy upward. This is subduction zone energy also. In the Middle America Trench. Lift that upward. Now move eastward to Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico. There's a shotgun of small activity there. Again, we just incorporate this all into one huge funnel of energy distributed around the earth. Now move your awareness eastward to the Mediterranean area. No activity there till we get to Greece. So I'm going, there's a 4.6 at Nidri, Greece. Volcanic activity building up. The 5.0 east of Crete. Only mild activity on through now to Afghanistan, northern Afghanistan, in that subduction zone of 5.4. This is what is raising the upper end of the Himalayan mountains. Now continue on eastward to China. At Suhe, China, a 5.0. Again, that's a response to the Indian plate. And move on eastward, back across the Pacific, back to our point of beginning. And out into the central United States, around Oklahoma, the fracking energy that continues on an ongoing basis, release that upward. Now, all through that zone, through Arkansas, the New Delhi region, and on into Tennessee and into the Appalachian Mountains, there's more and more activity all the time as in response to the fracking activities. So use that energy that's releasing, that's building up, to neutralize and stabilize the pollutants that are released in the fracking activity that could be detrimental to the groundwaters. We'll come back to our point of beginning. Raise your awareness back into your own systems now. Lift your awareness up to the level of the psychic grid and reach out through the psychic grid through group mind consciousness and feel the great confrontation that's occurring between the domination forces of the world, the financial system, and the dominion forces that are growing in consciousness around the world. We found that the greatest tool we have to dematerialize the domination force is to send unconditional love into that force, into the group mind conscious of those, the 5% of the world who are dominating 95% of the resources. So just open your hearts and send unconditional love to them, neutralizing, balancing the patterns and programs that have been established over thousands of years and passed down through the financial families, neutralizing, shifting their intent into understanding the need of the world and the need of dominion, of the need of financial structure in dominion. As dominion is that state of consciousness that humans are responsible for, that is responsible for all creatures on earth. This is our spiritual and evolutionary need. Just visualize the world, the color of the financial system shifting from darkness into the light as the frequencies of intent are raised, dematerialized and neutralized, and funds are released, assets are released, primary elements are released, to come back into the common good of the world, of all people. Now take your awareness to Iraq and this battle that's going on there. They're trying to create a new governmental system. They've just had election, And we put our intent and our will for the old dominators to be released that wanted to create more chaos. We release their energy. Send unconditional love into the hearts of the new people who are coming into the government, letting them see the need, feel the need, and act on the need for unification. Destabilize the country and stabilize the financial system and resources for the benefit and abundance of all, and extend that outward through the financial structures of the world that are shifting from fiat-based currency in the Federal Reserve to currencies that are based in gold-backed structures to stabilize and eliminate the greed, the creation of artificial money used to dominate the world. Now we look into the future, send the shift of consciousness through the 0 point of Earth and through Earth mind of dominion into the future. See the world harmonizing, coming into dominion, and the frequencies of consciousness rising into the fourth dimension. We feel we raise the consciousness of all humans to where they can perceive and understand and feel the intuitive need for dominion in the world. Dominion, where humans are the caretakers and nurturers of all life on Earth and of the resources and the potentials. We'll extend this out into the oceans, to all the sentient creatures of the oceans, and the land masses around the world, and we unify their desire for life and freedom to express their lives in all ways possible. And we use that to neutralize the domination forces. And so it is. To bring your awareness back into your own system, back into your own life and reality, and use this force we've created to benefit yourselves and your communities. So your communities act to their high selves, in response to their high selves, to make right choices. We extend that flow out into the communities to respond to higher consciousness in their choices and to lift everyone into dominion. Now bring your awareness back up through your systems, through your psychic system, out through the soul center, into the frontal lobes and back into this present reality. Feeling wonderful. Feeling utilized and fulfilled. And so it is. Okay, Dave, we're back.
Hang on a sec.
Does anyone have any further contributions they'd like to make this morning? Kimberly, I see you're on. Can you come on and give us a little background what you're doing with your groups and how your group is bridging into and unifying other groups around the world?
Good morning, Frank. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, I'm glad that you sent some great energy over there to Iraq, because I know that there's a lot of changes and movements that are happening there, and I just feel that that's a really positive move that we're making. They're getting ready to go back to Sharia law, which is no usury. And I don't know if you all know this, but they also just released the sanctions on May 28th. So essentially, Iraq is becoming an independent country again for the first time since its occupation. So it's very, very good news for people around the world. And they also should know that Iraq is a part of BRICS, one of the 60 countries that are coming up under the umbrella of BRICS, who has created its own internet and its own Asian IMF, and it is a fund, and there will be no usury there either. So we're moving into a really amazing time right now, so we just got to send a lot of good prayers over there. What else is happening? We have, for the first time ever in Tennessee, at the end of this month, the House of Representatives will be welcoming any and all generations who walked on the Trail of Tears for a public apology, the first of its kind. They hope to set all the other states, an example for all the other states to do the same. And it looks like all the different Native Americans, the Fire Clans and the Wolf Clans and all the different organizations within these different treaties are now going to be seeing their sovereignty. And we went to the Trail of Tears in Oklahoma for their annual event. That was amazing. URIC has had us all over the place here in the Midwest. And we're in the process now of creating a mission, a safe harbor, if you will, for people who want to self-govern and self-determine and become independent from the federal district. And an energetic migration is what keeps coming to mind for the last few years. Since 2009, I kept seeing a vision of an energetic migration, and I think that we're heading into that time now. And, of course, a lot of sightings happening in Illinois. Some of you may know Beth, who's in our trust, and her husband has been capturing this particular ship that is out above their farm in Wauconda, Illinois. So she's wanting to have us come out there with URIC so that we can begin to establish, sanctuary relations. On that same note, I wanted to mention to people, if they may not be aware of it, that Hawaii has created a sanctuary for a landing for visitors who would like to come and have conversations and educational courses with us, but they need to know that they're coming to a peaceful location. And Hawaii's actually created their latest volcano area in the Big Island is where they built the sanctuary. And it's just so exciting, the things that are happening around the world. And I'm so grateful to be able to tap into all of the group work that's been happening here. Susan's been keeping me up to date as best she can, and then we've been I've been on a show weekly with JP and Luz, thanks to Dave, for Wolf Spirit Radio, and we're going to go ahead and do that weekly now to begin to grow the numbers of people that want to unify and start to gather together and unite for peace.
Thank you. That's wonderful. You're doing wonderful work. And we want you to know, of course, that your inclusion in this group brings the force and energy of what we bring to the table into supporting everything you do. And
right.
even though we're not very specifically oriented on specific things, that what we do is supply the energy through the Golden Grid to nurture and empower everyone who is creating things out there. So thank you. Oh, incidentally, one of those landers in Hawaii is Rich. Rich, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Have you noticed any spaceships lately?
Well, I haven't experienced any lately, no. There's so much activity over here that people don't even turn their heads anymore, pretty much. Because it's kind of hard to know whether it's the military or if it's the actual real thing, because the military is doing operations off the islands at night, and they've got all kinds of stuff going on. And so when you're out there on the beach, like I do, fishing at night, I see all kinds of stuff. Actually, during the day, I've captured UFOs flying across the harbor. I was just taking pictures, random pictures of orbs, and I get these discs flying across. So it's really hard to know what's going on. There's a whole group of people here that are dedicated to UFOs, and the Galactic Center UFO base was centered here in Maui. And a lot of those people have left the island. There's a few left, but there's a whole bunch of information on that if you want to go on YouTube. It's just I just don't have time to keep up with it. It's very interesting, though.
Well,
we have Mount Haleakala here, and that's where a lot of the UFO sightings are. But you have to go up 10,000 feet, and it's quite a large area, and you have to hike back into places where most people can't go. So you can't view it from your car, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of stuff going on here.
Okay. Anyone else have any comments? Diane, is there any activity in your area?
Well, only in dream state. I had quite a very vivid, lucid dream after intending that I was going to start having experiences that were of significance in my dreams. And I was with a young boy outside some big function, and happened to I was pointing out stars to him, and I saw these two stars traveling together very rapidly in the distance, and I said, look, there's some spacecraft. And he said, really? And I said, yeah, if you have a pure heart, we can call them, they'll come. And so we concentrated on opening our heart, and instantly they manifested very close to us, and it was a dome-topped with a saucer underneath, which is not usually what I see in dreams. I usually just see lights, colored lights in the form of a ship. So, and then suddenly I looked in the sky and we could see all of them. It's like the veil was lifted, and we saw that there were many, many ships already all around. And I looked at the young boy and I said, this is going to change the entire world. This is the moment. And we ran in to tell these people in the party, and they all came out and listened to our story like listening to a movie plot. And then they all turned around and walked back in because they wanted to go back and dance and eat. And that was it. We just looked at each other and thought, wow, maybe people aren't ready. So
we're getting there.
We're getting there.
Teresa, what does Canada have to share with us?
Well, there have been some awakenings with the elementals, with spring in its fullness and robustness in terms of spacecraft. That hasn't been on our radar per se, but there's, along with the flowers and the buds and critters awakening. There are a lot of people awakening. I'm finding those you would expect would turn away or, take you around the corner and go, hey, I want to know more. So there are groups that are opening up and developing that are awakening to the potentials and possibilities of greater and greater teachings. Yeah.
Okay.
Bless you, Dave.
Anyone else have anything to contribute?
I was going to ask Key Marie about Iraq. She's saying that there's this. The mainstream media is acting like everything's coming undone. It's a big chaos over there, like with this ISIS group coming in and taking over. Who are these people? Could you give us more info on that?
Well, from what I've been gathering, I've had to do some research because, as you know, there's a little propaganda going on, as usual, when any country becomes sovereign away from the petrodollar. There have been 3 groups in Iraq that all maintained their own territories before Saddam was used to allow us to come in there and occupy for the last 18, 20 years now. After finding no weapons of mass destruction, what's happening over there is they are needing to reestablish their 3 quadrants of territories before they can move forward with their governance and the structure and the territories of that governance. So the issue that's happening right now is that we still had quite a few people working there at the embassy. And I don't know if you've ever seen the embassy there, but it's the largest in the world.
Yeah.
And we were to be out of there, and it seems as though we did not leave in full effect. So essentially, we were still occupying that region. And when May 28th, when it was signed by President Obama to lift the sanctions, they are now free to move into the BRICS umbrella trust, and China has taken over the majority of those oil contracts because we defaulted on our loans to China, as you all know by now, hopefully. And so China came over there and took over the oil contracts, and they are essentially an asset in the Middle East, one of the 3 eyes that is the underwriter for BRICS. So BRICS is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. However, Iran, Iraq, and Indonesia hold very, very high levels of valuable substance that's tradable only within the BRICS 60-nation trade zone. So the United States no longer can use their petrodollar to purchase any of those valuables anymore.
Oh, thank you, Kimberly. Dave has asked us to wrap up now, so we'll continue on until Sunday evening, and I'll have some special information about reversing the aging process. So we'll look forward to seeing you all then. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
Bye.
Love to all. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Love you.
We'll keep in touch, Key. Okay.
Thanks, everybody. I'll catch you all later.
Are we going to go on the cellar?
Right.
Enjoy. I'm dropping the ball, man.
Okay,
Thank
Dave.
you.